What's up, people? It's your boy Cam, Football Frame of Mind. You know what time it is. It's time for the time machine, baby. So, hope y'all enjoy part two. This is part three, man. We're going to talk about one of my favorite years in NFL history, 1972. Um, it, it was such a good year. You start to see players like uh, OJ Simpson, the juice for you youngsters out there, kind of start to find themselves in the NFL. It's also the year the Dolphins won the Super Bowl undefeated in the Super Bowl era. So we're going to get into that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We do so much live stuff. Um, so many game streams, so many shows, so many series. We talk about the game all day, every day. So check it out. Sometimes you'll see us live, man. Sometimes you see us playing the game. But we growing this thing, man. 98 million views in 2 years. I'd like to say we doing pretty good, man. So without further ado, man, let's get into this, man. Let's get into this 1972 action, man. So let's check it out. Right. So we left off 1971. The Cowboys are your defending champs. Alan Page is the defending MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Right. So we get into 1972, man. Don't worry about it. We'll get into the champion or whatever. But let's talk about the MVP of the league, man. So MVP of the league was Larry Brown. Larry Brown uh, won this MVP uh, with 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, about 100 yards a game. Playing with the Redskins. The Redskins 11-2 this season. Um, Playing some good defense, also scoring some points. So they had a good run, which we'll get into. But Larry Brown is your MVP. Rookie of the Year is a very, very important player, an underrated player, in my opinion. One of the best running backs in NFL history, Franco Harris, the Penn State product, man, finished his Penn State career um, with 600 yards, man. Nothing crazy, but they did their thing. They did their thing, and he was good enough to be picked in the first round. So the game's changed a lot, and no telling who they had in the backfield with him. But in the NFL, Franco Harris was that guy. Like, he was good. He was good for a very, very long time. Very long time. And he did his thing, man. He did his thing. So, um, as you see, the Steelers start to really, really get good. And they got good fast, man. After Chuck Noll took over, their whole outlook of their team changed, right? Um, Defensive Rookie of the Year is Willie Buchanan, first round, seventh overall by the Packers. Finished his career with 28 interceptions. Pretty damn good, pretty solid. So he got Rookie of the Year, couple Pro Bowls, All Pro season in 1978. So I like to say he turned out pretty good. They got the most out of him I think they could get. Um, let's see. Larry Brown also won Offensive Player of the Year, and Mean Joe Green won Defensive Player of the Year. His first of his career. 11 sacks. He was exactly what his name says. He was mean. And boy, he was good, man. He was good that season, right? I'm actually curious on what the Steelers did that season, but we can get into that. But I just wanna see what they did. That particular 70, 72. So we go here. So 7-3. Okay. So Chuck no shit. All right. Cool. All right. So there you go. Let's check out some stats, and then we'll go into some standings, right? So the all-time, not the all-time leading passer, but the regular season leader in passing yards was none other than Joe Namath. Joe Namath came off of a rough 71 where, excuse me, excuse me, he came off a rough 71 where he only played in 4 games. So it's interesting that you see how he had this resurgence. But as I mentioned before, Joe Namath wasn't the most accurate passer, though. But I will say he was ahead of his time, right? I'm not exactly sure what happened later on in his career, but early on, you can tell that Joe Namath was ahead of his time, man. Especially early. 67 was outstanding. I don't think I don't think I've seen in the 60s many people get over 3,000 yards, let alone 4. Right? So that's what I say he's ahead of his time, man. But this was a good career resurgence, man. Got the Jets to a 7-6 record. But most certainly they didn't make the playoffs that year. Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs, man. Um, I wonder how long Weeb Eubank was there. Not much longer after that. Okay. Excuse me. Shout out to Buddy Ryan, man. Buddy Ryan. Youngster. Young Buddy Ryan, man. Damn. Damn. So he was the defensive line coach at this point. 41. So not super young. Not super young. Yeah, not super young. But he was defensive coordinator at Vanderbilt in '66. I gotta ask Chris if he remember that. Let's see. Defensive line coach for the Jets. That's fitting. That's actually kind of cool because when you think about it, Rex Ryan was the head coach of the Jets later on. So that's pretty cool. But league leader in yards was Joe Namath. Fran Tarkenton returns to Minnesota after spending a few seasons, well, not a few, spending about 6 years with the Giants. He returns to Minnesota and is still one of the best. Still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, even though he's 32 at this time. 7-7. But did his thing, man. Excuse me. Um, Pretty good ratio, 18-13. That's pretty damn good. John Hadle continuing his dominance, sort of, in the passing game. 32 years old. Been one of the most underrated passers in NFL history, man. 6-time Pro Bowler, AFL champion, right? All Pro. So it's crazy that he don't get the shine for real. That's crazy, bro. Like, yeah, okay, he had a lot of interceptions, but shit, so did fucking Joe Namath, and Joe Namath is considered one of the greatest. But nobody talk about John Hadle for real. Ushered in a whole new era for real. So Craig Morton is in Dallas, which is interesting. So let me see Craig Morton real quick. All right, so Craig Morton, 1972. So what happened with Dallas in 1972? They went 10 something. Sid Gilman, quality control. Gene Stallings, that's an important name in college football circles. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty nice. That's neat. That's neat. Defensive assistant, head coach at Texas A&M, defensive back coach. And he was the head coach of the St. Louis Cardinals. And then they moved to Arizona. And then he came back to college to finish out his coaching career. Cool. Yeah, so he had a nice long journey. That's cool. That's cool. Legend though. Legend. Legend. But I'm more interested to see why the fuck Roger Staubach isn't starting. That makes no that's crazy to me. That's crazy as hell. What was Tom Landry thinking? 1971, Staubach won a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl in 1971, and Staubach was Super Bowl MVP. And he didn't play in 1972, like at all. 4 games he played in. Now I don't know if he was hurt or whatever, but if that was the case, then I understand. But not having your Super Bowl MVP quarterback starting, that's ridiculous. Hell no. So I'm interested to hear what happened there, cause I don't know. That don't make no sense to me. That don't make no sense at all. But neither that, whatever. Now Jim Plunkett is in the top 10 in yards, but he also top 5 interceptions. That's ridiculous, boy. Whoa, 25 is crazy. 26 is crazy. 21 is crazy. Arch Manning had 21. Archie Manning, should I say, had 21. But damn, he was second in yards. Trying to get the Saints out the damn cellar. Shit. Roman Gabriel, pretty cool. Daryl LaMonica still doing his thing. Steve Spurrier got the most playing time he got in his career right now. Shout out to Ken Anderson, 23. That's an important name in Cincinnati Bengals history. Um, he had a good career, man. Good career. And at this time, as you've seen on the intro, Bill Walsh is the off. Well, he's a quarterbacks coach, but honestly, he's really like the offensive coordinator, bro. Because his ingenuity is so important in what they would become later on, right? When we get into the 80s or late 70s with the Niners, that's how important he became, right? But Ken Anderson, this is his second season. So he's finally getting some shine and they winning some ball games, man. That's what's important at this particular juncture. Ken Anderson was 7-6, right? 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So not changing the scoreboard much, but also not hurting the team. You know, Dan Pastorini, pretty good with Houston. He on the list. Let's see, Earl Morrall, right? The greatest backup quarterback ever, all pro and pretty good ratio, right? This the year of Bobby Douglas when he set the rushing record. Mm, did he set the rushing record? Rushing record. It is. It is. So 1972 is the year that Bobby Douglas set the rushing yards record for a quarterback. That stood until Michael Vick did it in like the early 2000s or late 2000s, something like that. So pretty damn good, right? John Brody, one of the best passers of the 60s, ended up, well, he kind of just lost his job to Spurrier, man. So uh crazy. I think Bob Greasy ended up getting hurt. Sonny Jurgensen still doing his thing, but he's most certainly not the starting quarterback anymore. That belongs to Billy Kilmer. And this would become one of the last seasons for Sonny Jurgensen, who was one of the best passers of the 60s. So you see Kenny Stabler, uh, not the starter yet, but you know what's coming. Some pretty good play. So you see some guys on there. So yeah. So Joe Namath was a touchdown leader as well. So he got some MVP votes that season as well. So let's get into some rushing, man. Let's see some running backs. So you see at the top of the list, man, OJ Simpson led the league in rushing. His first, I want to say that's his first All Pro season. Yeah, his first All Pro in a string of what, 5 or 6 straight. So yeah, but OJ started to come into his own, man, and he looked good. Larry Brown, obviously wins MVP. Larry Zonka, another 1,000 yard season. Franco Harris, another 1,000 yard season in his rookie season, by the way. Mike Garrett, Heisman winner, USC. So is OJ, by the way. Mercury Morris. I told y'all Mercury Morris was one of those ones. And Mercury Morris finished his season with 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns, right? Bobby Douglas, quarterback, almost in the top 10. I told you. Really good record there. Let's see. Anybody else that stand out? Let's see, man. Jim Kick, 500. Let's see, anybody else? Archie Manning had 300. Yeah, Tony Baker. Tony Baker. No, that's Terry Baker, my bad. So, yeah. Let's see. Touchdowns. Emerson Boozer had 11 touchdowns. So he getting them yards, getting them scores, man. He's getting around the goal line. Let's get some points. Floyd Little, 800 yards, underrated for sure. Shit, Bobby Douglas was 8 touchdowns on the ground too. He's pretty good. Ron Johnson, New York. What is that? New York Giants. Yeah. So he had a good season. Got a Pro Bowl. Yeah. So pretty good. John Riggins had 900 yards. Yep, so that's good. Shit. Let me see Mike Garrett. Let me see Mike Garrett. Mike Garrett, so he's 28 at this time. Damn, so he ain't played that much longer? Damn. That's crazy, bro. To be a Heisman winner and not necessarily get no shine for real like that. Yeah. Heisman winner 1965. Started them USC running backs, man. Let's see receiving, man. So let's see. So Harold Jackson from Philly finished the year with the most receiving yards and pretty good, honestly. Pretty good career. With New England, he ended up with 1,000 again, but he's pretty damn good. 10,000 receiving yards, 76 touchdowns. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty damn good. Jackson State. So he had a pretty good career, man. Fred Biletnikoff still doing his thing at 29. Chip Myers. Let's see. Let's see. Bob Tucker, tight end up in there. Otis Taylor. We talked about him. He's still on the list. So kind of a down year, a little bit at receiver. Considering it's not that many guys with 1,000. Kind of a down year. And maybe it's just a quarterback play too, man. Paul Warfield only had 600 yards. Art Malone, Roy Jefferson, Dave Parks. He's with the Saints right now, playing tight end, which turned out to be a pretty good move because he's pretty good as receiver. First overall pick, still playing. Let's see touchdowns. Gene Washington led the league in touchdowns. San Francisco. That's 72. Still under Nick Nolan. Yeah, Spurrier, like I said, this is Spurrier's best season. Well, shit, the most, none, yeah, pretty much. That's the most chances he got for real. Not necessarily getting no shine for real. All right, let's check out some defense. Check out some defense, man. I know there's some pretty good players on there. All right, so Lyle Alzada, um, rest in peace to him. He was good, man. This is his second season, and he's 10 sacks on the year. Did his thing, man. I think a lot of people know him with the Raiders more so than anything, but he started in Denver, and he played his ass off, man. Played his ass off, man. So, uh, really good, really good. But Jack Gregory, 18 sacks, man. Um, Pretty damn good. And he all pro second team with 18. I want to know who got the first one. I wonder who was the first team all pro at that. Because this is second team. I want to know who got first team. First team all pro. Yeah, I want to know who got the first team because that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Tommy Hart with the 49ers, 83 sacks in his career, including 17 and then 16. So that's pretty good. Like I said, sacks weren't official, so but the totals are still pretty cool. Let me see. So Mike Reed, Cincinnati, 12. Let's see. Mean Joe Green up there with 11. Defensive player of the year. Marilyn Olsen, 32. He's still doing his thing. Jethro Pugh. Let's see. So, man, Carl Eller still up there. Buck Buchanan still doing his thing. Ted Hendricks. Yes, Ted Hendricks, man. Young Ted Hendricks starting to figure some stuff out, man. So he got a Pro Bowl in 71 and another Pro Bowl and all pro season. So yeah, Ted Hendricks, the stork, the mad stork. Yep. So um all 6'7" of him. So he started to kind of get his Hall of Fame career started. Claude Humphrey. So that's who got it, Claude Humphrey. Okay. Deacon Jones, 34. He's with the Chargers now. 6 sacks. Let's see. Who else on the list, man? Yeah, let's see who else on the list. So let's see who else on the list, man. Uh, let's see some names of players. Jack Ham still. Jack Ham in the league right now, man. 24 years old. So this is his second season in the league, and now he's getting trusted with doing some things. Man, he had 7 interceptions, 2 sacks, and he ain't getting no Pro Bowls or nothing. Yeah, that next season, that's when he starts shining. But 24, man, 24 at this time, bruh. That's crazy. Bob Lilly, 33, still doing his thing. Let's see, Jack Ham in that thing. Rick Harris. Chuck Howley, Super Bowl MVP. Got a lot of playing time. Leroy Jordan. Yeah, so Tommy Casanova. There we go. LSU. I think Brandon wanted me to talk about Tommy Casanova, but second round pick out of LSU. Career didn't last very long. Didn't last very long, but he had a pretty interesting start though, man. 5 interceptions, defensive rookie of the year. Votes, he finished second. So he's got 3 Pro Bowls and an All Pro to his name. Um, Pretty good player, man. Honestly, I just wish he just played longer. Seemed like he's a pretty good returner. considering the fact that he's got a touchdown and some yards as well. So he was a playmaker, man. So shout out to Tommy Casanova, man. Did his thing. He on the list. On the list. So let's see interceptions. Let's see who led the league in interceptions, man. So Bill Bradley, man. I feel like we've seen that name before, man. And he's a good punter, for real. Pretty good dude. So 9 interceptions. Leads the thing. Mike Sensabaugh, that's Kansas City. Ended up playing with St. Louis for a little bit. So he's second. Jack Ham. Like that's why I don't understand how the hell you don't get no Pro Bowls and you're a linebacker and you're top 5 in interceptions. I don't understand that one. Charlie Waters. Yeah, I remember him a little bit. Let's see who else. Willie Brown, Oakland. Oh man, Willie Brown. Yep. Jack Tatum up in there. Bobby Bell up in there. No, that's not the same guy. Actually, might be him. Ricky Harris in that thing, man. So yeah. Pretty good. All right. So let's get into some standings, man. Let's get into some standings real quick. So standings in this particular thing. Before we do standings, man, let me check out this draft real quick. All right. So first overall pick was Walt Potosky, Notre Dame. Then we got Sherman White. Let's see. He played into 70. No, he played into 83. Ahmad Rashad. So anybody who knows inside stuff or NBA or whatever, this is the guy that's on there. Ahmad Rashad played football first, and he was one of the best. So Felicia Rashad, the wife Claire Huxtable on the Cosby Show. This is her husband. She kept his name professionally. And boy, Myra Shire was pretty good, especially with the Vikings. So that's cold, man. The fact that he was like 4th overall, man, that's crazy. I like that. See, Franco Harris was in that thing. Let me see. Yeah, let's see. Names on there that really resonate with me, but Tommy Casanova probably should have been a first rounder. He most definitely. I think he probably would have if there were more teams. But most certainly he should have been a first rounder. But Amira Shire, that's pretty cool. Him being 4th overall, man. I gotta see his college stats. How good was he at Oregon? So 4th overall. So his name was Robert Moore at first, and then he changed his name to Amir Rashad. But let's see. So he was pretty much do it all. So he ended up with 1,200 yards, including 10 per carry. 110 per game. He received pretty good out the backfield, so he definitely could do it all. Let's see, man. Yeah. But he ended up going 4th overall from Oregon. So I'm pretty sure that's crazy, man. It's gotta feel good though to be. Man, I didn't know he was 75. Jeez. My Rashad is not 75, bro. He's not 75, bro. No way. We gotta look that up, man. No way. Forgive me. Amir Rashad is not 75, bro. No fucking way he is 75, bro. Just so y'all know what I'm talking about. Just so y'all know what I'm talking about. Uh, Amara Rashad is not 75, bro. No way. No way Amara Rashad is 75. I can't believe that. No way. No fucking way Amara Rashad is 75, bro. That's crazy. I'm glad he be at the games and stuff. But yeah, inside stuff, NBA access with Amara Rashad. That's crazy, bro. He's pretty damn good too on television. That's crazy, man. Dude was nice, bro. All pro, 79, four-time Pro Bowler in a row, 50 greatest Vikings. That's crazy. First team All American, of course. He was going to get that in 71. But fourth overall pick, Oregon Sports Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's tight, man. And he's in the College Football Hall of Fame, bro. That's wild, though. My pops used to talk about him. He's like, "You remember Robert Moore?" I was like, "Nah, man." But I tell you what, his name was Amir Rashad. Now I was like, "Are you serious?" I was just watching Amir Rashad on NBA stuff. You telling me he was that good? Grandpa used to say it all the time, man. He's like, man, he was good with the Cardinals. And he used to say, man, when he changed his name, that's when they got rid of him. I was like, damn, man, that's dirty. But I was like, man, he turned that shit around, bro. For real. Amir Rashad, man, I can't believe he fucking 75, bro. Fuck no. No, man. He ain't 75, bro. I ain't believing it. Nah, but seriously though, so Walt Patowski, obviously, Walt Patowski is from fucking Notre Dame, and he's pretty damn good too, man. He was good as hell at Notre Dame, bro. I wish I could see all the stats and shit, but like I said, they probably ain't keep shit like that for real. But nonetheless, man, I like that shit. I like that shit, man. So, excuse me. So I'm trying to see something. So Pat Sullivan, Auburn. Yeah, he's like the athletic director, I think. Was he the athletic director at Auburn? I feel like he was. I feel like he was the athletic director at Auburn for a while. All right, so this is 72. Okay. All right. So nonetheless, man, let's get into some standings, right? So we're talking about 1972, right? So for our youngsters out there, Miami Dolphins finished this season undefeated. Okay, so 14-0 to end the regular season. Um, the Steelers have pretty much completed their whole turnaround, quite frankly, if we being honest. So Chuck Noll took over in '69. They improved in '70. They improved in '71, and then 1972, they finally complete the turnaround. And the turnaround gets them into the playoffs, man. And they do damage in the playoffs. We'll get there. So Oakland wins the AFC West, right? So those are your division winners of the AFC. So the division winners of the NFC include the Redskins, they include the Packers, and they include the 49ers, right? So surprisingly, Steve Spurrier leads this team to the damn playoffs. And then I don't know if he gets hurt or whatever, but the next season doesn't do anything, right? And then they move on completely, which is absolutely nuts. I can't understand that at all. But that's neither here or there. The Saints are absolutely garbage, and the Eagles are absolutely garbage. So I'm actually curious to see who the fuck got the first overall pick that year. So that was Houston. They picked John Matuzak, and he was damn good too. We get into Burt Jones. So New England fourth, Philly third, Baltimore is second. So Houston. So somebody traded something. Somebody traded something. Because now it don't make no sense. Wait a minute. Yes, it does. All right, so Houston is the worst team in the league. All right. Yeah, they worse. So they get the first overall pick. Second was what? Philly? Was it Philly? Yeah, so I don't see New Orleans in that motherfucker. So I hope they wasn't stupid enough to trade no picks away. That's crazy. They was. They traded that shit. They had to trade that shit to fucking Baltimore. That's crazy. That's nuts. Are you serious? They had to trade that pick away. That made no fucking sense. Oh my god. No wonder they were so bad. They're just dumb. That's so stupid. Now Philly kept theirs and they ended up getting third, but damn. All right, so the Rams, but the Falcons improved though under Norm Van Brocklin. They improved in 1972. After a couple years of being kind of bad, they improved. 7-7. So headed in the right direction going into 1973. So that's good. That's good. That's good. Detroit still, Detroit. But Detroit got Chuck Knox. That name sounds familiar. That name sounds familiar. So he's with the Rams, yeah. So he's with the Rams when they was not in St. Louis yet. No, not yet, not yet. Yeah, I know that name sounds familiar. He's with Seattle. Oof. Seattle do some dark times. The Rams, not the Rams, but the St. Louis Cardinals. Not very good. Bob Holloway. Yeah, not very good, man. They ain't do too good that year. All right, so let's get into some playoffs, man. Let's talk some playoffs. Playoffs? You kidding me? All right, let's talk some playoffs, man. So, Oakland versus Pittsburgh, which became one of the prominent rivalries of the 1970s, okay? All right, so the Steelers, tough team, hard nose, everything, right? The Raiders considered the rejects of the league, the bad boys of the NFL, right? That's what they're considered. But the Steelers are completing a rebuild, man. And it starts with this game, right? December 23rd, 1973. This game was played at Three Rivers Stadium. Now, this is the game they call the Immaculate Reception game, right? Where Terry Bradshaw backs up, gets hit, and throws the ball fluttering through the air. He got hit as the ball was released. And lo and behold, rookie of the year, Franco Harris, is right there to catch the ball. And he catches it and scores all the way, 60 yards, right? But you can tell that both teams brought their hard hat for this game, right? And you kind of loosely start to see the maturation process of Kenny Stabler. All right. So Kenny Stabler Obviously turned into one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But after this season and what he did in this playoff game, 73 was his time to shine. All right. And he did. He shined like a diamond, man. So Darryl LaMonica, MVP, AFL champion, right? All pro, pro bowler, one of the more underrated passers of his generation, right? I'm surprised he's not in the Hall of Fame, honestly, because the AFL he was probably the guy, in my opinion. Right? He won a lot with Buffalo, including I want to say 3 AFL titles. Um, got to a Super Bowl. So yeah, so I'm surprised he's not in the Hall of Fame because he was just that damn good, man. He should have got the call a long time ago. But nonetheless, man, the Steelers get out to a lead in this one, man. I mean, no scores in the first half. That lets you know how good these defenses were, man. Like, that's crazy, man. Crazy. Jack Ham with another interception. LC Greenwood. Like, come on, man. It's still curtain was in full effect, bro. Full effect. Right? But like I said, man, the Raiders wasn't no punks neither, bro. Like I said, they had Jim Otto, man, one of the best linemen ever. Right? He was on the team. I want to say Art Shell might have been on the team. So yeah, they was moving bodies back then, man. And this score doesn't surprise me, man. But Kenny Stabler, man, George Blanda, still kicking the ball at this point, right? Like you can throw a couple passes here or there, man. But George Blanda was the shit. He was not the best quarterback, but boy, he could play some football, man. Kicking, punting, throwing, all kind of shit. He was good, man. The fact that he's still playing, Oakland takes the lead late, and then the immaculate reception happens, and there you go. The Steelers go on to the next round. But that play, this game is studied throughout NFL history and historians alike for all the right and wrong reasons, right? Somebody says that Franco Harris, the ball hit the ground. The Raiders say it hit the ground. The Steelers say he called it clean, which they're supposed to say. Let's see. Some people say it's a flag on the play, it's holding. Let's see. What else, man? Goddamn. They say that the ref or the head ref got on the phone with somebody, and then after he hung up the phone, he just held up the touchdown sign and they left the field without no explanation, and that's the end of the game. So it's been argued for how long is this? 72. So shit, almost 50 years or something like that. Almost 50 years. They still been arguing about this play. So like they ain't playing. They ain't playing, bro. They ain't playing. How many years is that? Let's see. Let's see. 82, 92, 2002, 2012. Yeah. 20, yeah, damn. It's almost 50 years. Fuck. But yeah, they've been arguing about this play through NFL history like for years. And like it's in the record books as the Steelers win. So but don't tell the Raiders fans that they don't tell Raiders fans that they lost this game fair and square. They will argue with you to the end of time, right? So another great rivalry that kind of was built in this era of the 70s is the 49ers and Cowboys, man. So 49ers and Cowboys battled to this day. This one of those rivalries that never gets old, in my opinion. So the Cowboys in the divisional round take on the 49ers. This is what you call it. So this is John Brody is playing in this game. So it's kind of interesting that he's playing in this one, considering that he really didn't play that much this season. So want to say there may be an injury to Spurrier at some point. But this game was a classic, man. All right, so you got the 49ers first quarter 7-0, right? Cowboys get a field goal, right? Second quarter, let's see, Niners get touchdown, get two touchdowns, right? Go up 21-3. You're thinking, all right, well, shit, here we go, right? They got an opportunity to keep going. Not so fast, my friend, as the great Lee Corso would say. Cowboys bounce back with a field goal and then a touchdown. Greg Morton to Lance Allworth, right? So, not sure what happened in that second half, but Roger Staubach comes in this game and he wins. He comes back and wins this motherfucker. And that's what he did, right? Larry, I want to say Schreiber scores right after that Lance Allworth touchdown to end the half, right? The 49ers up 28-13. But then the Cowboys storm all the way back from 28-13 down to steal this game from the 49ers with two touchdown passes from Roger Staubach and a field goal. And they steal it right from the jaws of defeat. So, wow, is what I'd say. So then we get into the team of the hour, right? We get into the team of the hour, which is the Dolphins. 14-0 regular season. So all that doesn't matter until you get to the playoffs. So the Cleveland Browns travel to Miami and they take on the Dolphins, man, in the divisional round. So 14-0 regular season. You think, hey, let's get it done, right? But everybody in the league knows that, right? But look at the stats here, man. So Miami beat Cleveland in first downs, of course. I think yards as well on the ground. That's not surprising, right? But what is surprising is the inept quarterback play of the Cleveland Browns. 5 interceptions for their quarterback, man. And they only lost this game by 6. So imagine if you don't turn the ball over like that. And it's not like they didn't have any success. They did. Leroy Kelly at this point is not like his all-pro former self in the late 60s, right? But he's still a good back, right? And then you get some pretty good yardage from Bo Scott, right? Pretty good running back in his own right. But when you think about the fact that you got a 1,000-yard rusher in Mercury Morris, you got another 1,000-yard rusher in Larry Zonka, and Jim Kick gives you 500 yards. That is a crazy trio. I'll say that to the end of time. That is crazy. Butch Cassidy is what they call him, man. That's crazy, man. That is nuts. I can't believe that shit. Wow. They really put it in. Paul Warfield finishes it off, man. He had 2 carries for 41 yards, right? Along with catching the ball and all of that shit, man. And then what makes it even remotely more outstanding that they won this game is the fact that they had Earl Morrall, the backup quarterback, starting this game. And Earl Morrall started the majority of the season. That's crazy to me. So I want to say, Bob Greasy is playing. Bob Greasy is playing week 1. Week 2. He's playing week 3. Starting week 4. Bob Greasy starting. And I mean, he's on a fucking tear, by the way. Like, he's balling. He could have probably been MVP if he didn't get hurt this early this season. So then we go to week 5 against the Chargers, where I would say Bob Greasy gets hurt. And then we go into the next game where now Earl Morrall's starting for the rest of the season, right? And then he goes undefeated in 72, right? So when you're looking at this and you say, well, how do you know that Earl Morrall is the greatest backup quarterback all time, right? Think about this shit. Multiple times throughout his career. You see it, 1968, right? Baltimore loses to the Jets in Super Bowl III. Johnny Unitas is the league's first franchise quarterback, right? The face of the league, all right? He's one of those ones. And Earl Morrall wins MVP of the league as a backup at this point. Yeah, he had some stints with Detroit and he was starting or whatever. But he was backing up Johnny Unitas. And he leads them to the Super Bowl and wins league MVP. Who does that as a backup quarterback? Earl Morrall did. Then he continues to back up Johnny Unitas for a few more years, including, kind of saving his butt in 1970 when they won the Super Bowl. But then goes to Miami. And in the midst of Bob Greasy having one of the greatest starts to a season, picks up where Bob Greasy left off and went 9-0. 9-0 for the rest of the season. Greatest backup quarterback ever. Argue with your mama. Argue with your grandpa. Shit. But damn, that's cold. I'm sorry. That's cold. That's cold-blooded, man. And then, they ultimately go all the way. Let me go back. I'm just trying to see something real quick. I love me some Earl Morrall, man. But anyway, so they beat up on Cleveland, get out to a lead. Then Cleveland comes back, has the lead. So guy throws 5 interceptions and then almost wins the game. Almost wins the game. After throwing 5 interceptions. And then Gerald Upremian gets an extra point, but Jim Kick scored a touchdown. So they go on to win, right? So then we go to Green Bay, right? Green Bay is back after having a few rough seasons. So a few rough seasons. Let's say that. A few rough seasons. So we go. So Phil Bankston, who took over after Vince Lombardi left, and obviously Vince Lombardi passed away in 70. Sadly, of course, but Phil Bankston didn't have no success for real. Not maybe it's the weight of expectations after so much success that Vince Lombardi had, but didn't work out, man. Didn't work out. 71, they hired Dan Devine, right, and they just started rebuilding the team. I mean, at this point, Bart Starr is out, right? He's not the same guy. Retired. It's time to retire after that. John Breakington, who was rookie of the year, right? So you start hitting on draft picks like that. Let's see who else, man. So not many people left. I mean, Ray Nitschke's 35 at this time, right? Dave Robinson's 30. So that's a part of that old style. But now they moving into a new era of Packers football, right? So we get to 72, they make the playoffs, man. They playing Washington. I mean, okay season from the quarterback, not too much. I mean, bringing 10 Pro Bowl, 1,000 yards, do stuff like that. Ken Ellis is a All Pro kick returner, so that's pretty good. So I mean, yeah, we got Willie Buchanan, rookie of the year. So you start to see the Packers rebuilding after the Vince Lombardi era, which is important because it's tough, man, when a dude has so much success like that, man. I wouldn't wish that on nobody trying to replace a legend like that, but he most certainly did. He most certainly had to start somewhere. But that's all they did. That's all they did. They just made the they just made the playoffs. They ain't do nothing. Redskins, Billy Kilmer decided he's like, well, we'll just end this early. And you got touchdown, couple field goals, and that was it. That's all they really needed, man. They didn't need too much. Kilmer played a pretty good game, 50% completion percentage, 100 yards, touchdown. Larry Brown did his thing, MVP of the league, of course, 100 yards, right? So they did what they needed to do, and they knew how they was gonna win the game, right? So let's get into the next round. Let's get into the next round. So conference championship weekend. So let's start with the Dolphins. All right. So after the immaculate deception, as some Raiders players back then called it, the Steelers go on to play Pittsburgh. I mean, not Steelers. I'm so tired sometimes, man. I'm so tired. I just said so. The Steelers take on Pittsburgh. Wow. Wake up, dude. My bad. But the Steelers take on the Dolphins in the AFC title game. A matchup like the week prior of two of the best coaches in NFL history. The Steelers took on the Raiders, coached by John Madden. Then they go on to face the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers go on to face the Dolphins, right? My bad. My signals are so crossed right now. I apologize, y'all. But Don Shula going against Chuck Noll, great matchup here. Like I said, the Steelers trying to complete their rebuild after years of being ass basically. But there you go, man. So the Dolphins. This was a good game. Like I would have loved to either see this game or hear this game on the radio. This shit would probably have been lit. So the Steelers, obviously the rules have changed. You cannot recover offensive fumble. Well, you can in the end zone, but you can't necessarily like move it forward. So maybe that's what it was. Not really sure, right? But we still got the Steelers getting up by 7. Larry Zonka, second quarter, gets a nice pass from Earl Morrall, greatest backup quarterback ever. And then they get a field goal, make it 10-7 to start after the halftime. So then the Dolphins just kind of do what they do and run the football down your throat. And Jim Kick gets 2 touchdowns in the end of the third, possibly, and then to start the fourth. And after that, we just playing defense and trying to figure this shit out. And Terry Bradshaw gets the touchdown pass, but that's it. Game over after that. Earl Morrall starts the game. And then Bob Greasy comes in and does his thing. But what really won them the game was most certainly the running backs. Jim Kick with 2 touchdowns. Larry was that Simple. He had a 1 carry for 37 yards. Larry Zonka had 24 carries, 68 yards, and Mercury Morris, a nice 76 burger, right? So they was clowning, man. But I can't sit here and say like, oh man, the Steelers just had a bad game, right? Now Terry Bradshaw kinda, but not necessarily because he still passed for a touchdown even though he had 2 picks, right? But when you're dealing with a team that has like 3 running backs and you only got one, it's gonna be tough to pick up some yards, man. And that's exactly what happened. It was tough. But the Steelers played a good brand of defense, man, and they just didn't have enough offensively. But they will change that, and they will get some offense real soon. Real soon. They're going to get some offense real soon, man. They're going to get some receivers that do this. They're going to get some receivers that do this. They're going to get Rocky Blyer, right, to have 2 running backs back there, Franco Harris and Rocky Blyer. They're going to get some more linebackers because I still ain't seen I seen Jack Ham, but I ain't seen Lambert yet. And that's the dude I want to say they ain't got no teeth. So they ain't seen him yet. They most certainly still, I think Mel Blunt, I don't know if he's on the team yet. I ain't seen him yet. And he got like 40 interceptions. So I ain't seen him on the list yet. But they about to get some reinforcements, and the Steelers about to be real good. So, like I said, the Dolphins can enjoy the early 70s, but the late mid 70s, that's all Steelers, baby. So we'll see. But for right now, the Dolphins win, and they're headed to the Super Bowl. So Washington takes care of business in a major way, in a real way. They beat up on the Cowboys, 26-3. They kickers off the chain. Shout out Charlie Taylor, man. Charlie Taylor is still doing his thing, man. He's one of the best receivers, one of the best players of the 60s, period. He was a pretty good running back and then trans into a really good receiver. But Washington was that deal, bro. Washington was good, and Charlie Taylor was definitely one of those dudes. But he did his thing, man. Billy Kilmer was on him early in this game, man. But Roger Staubach didn't have his best game, but he also certainly didn't have his worst game either, right? So I would venture to say that Charlie Morton got hurt in this game because either he got hurt or Tom Landry just benched him because Staubach was just that much better. But don't know. Wasn't there. Just assuming, just out there throwing out ideas, right? But I know those are 2 scenarios that, necessarily happen in football. So, but, another good rivalry in today's game, the Commanders Skins versus the Cowboys. That's always a really good game. But nonetheless, Washington is your representative in the Super Bowl for the NFC. So we get into Super Bowl 7. Super Bowl 7? Yeah, Super Bowl 7. So we get into Super Bowl 7, and the Dolphins have finished the season undefeated, man. And they got one more game to get to finish 17-0, and they do it in pretty good fashion, man. Surprisingly, this game was closer than you would think because coming into the game, you would think like, okay, well, you would think just off of face value, right? Just off of what it is. So if I'm going to make a bet on this Super Bowl, right? We talking 1972, and we talking Dolphins and Redskins. So if I'm looking at this Super Bowl, I'm thinking that if Miami can run the ball, they can win this game. And it don't have to be blowout. It don't have to be nothing. Just keep the ball and play keep away and continue to get first downs and yardage, right? But if I'm the Redskins and I'm coming into this Super Bowl, final score out of the equation right now, I'm thinking we gotta attack them through the air, right? We gotta make them get out the point of running the ball. We gotta get up on them early. And I feel like that's what they tried to do, and the quarterback just couldn't make the right throws. Their defense was just that good. And you see it in what happened, you know. Bob Greasy makes his return in the playoffs, right? Um, and he got some playing time, I want to say, in the last game against for Earl Morrall. But he comes back and he doesn't have to do much. You know, he only passed the ball 11 times, got a touchdown, interception. But their running backs took over. I mean, 112 for Larry Zonka, who didn't win Super Bowl MVP. Jim Kick gets a touchdown. Mercury Morris has, 34, right? But Billy Kilmer just couldn't do nothing, man. And it's simple math, dog. It's simple math. If I got three running backs, three. If I got three running backs and they give me roughly 40 yards apiece and I get 100 yards from somebody else, I'm getting some yards, man. I'm getting more yards than you. When you only have Larry Brown, who is the MVP of the league, by the way, that's it. That production just ain't there, right? But Jake Scott wins Super Bowl MVP, having two of those three interceptions that dude threw, and that was pretty much it, though. I mean, like Howard was that Twilly gets a touchdown pass from Greasy, and then Jim Kick scores a touchdown, and that's the first and second quarter action. And then it ain't shit in the third. And then Gary Yepremian, like, I don't know if he was trying to punt it or kick a field goal, and they was about to block it, and then he tried to throw that motherfucker, and dude picked it, intercepted it, and scored a touchdown. So that was their only points of the game. And to be honest, they probably wouldn't have scored if that didn't happen. But most it's one of the funniest bloopers in NFL history on NFL films. It's like it's the worst throw attempt I've ever seen. But they win, man. I mean, the Dolphins was favored, so I think Vegas probably thought this was going to be a close game. All my better people that place bets and gamble, let me know. Like, this looked like it was gonna be a close ass fucking Super Bowl, and it was. It definitely was. Like I said, damn, they got the full play by play. Hell no. Okay, I'm gonna check this shit out next video. Hell no, they ain't do shit. Larry Brown 1 yard, 2 yards. Jim Kick for 3. Jim Kick for 8. Incomplete pass. Right? Complete pass. Damn, I'm gonna check this out. I'm gonna check out the game summary, bro. The full play by play. I'm gonna check that shit out. That's gonna be cool to do. So yeah, 73. We definitely gonna do that. But nonetheless, the Miami Dolphins complete the undefeated season. To this day, the only undefeated season that has been completed by winning the Super Bowl. It don't count if you don't get the ring, man. Look at basketball. Why don't we talk about the Warriors team that won? That's when what was it? 73-9. Why don't we talk about them? Because they ain't get that ring, man. Why we don't talk about the Patriots of 2008 or 7 or whatever? because they didn't get that ring. Yeah, they went undefeated, but they lost the biggest prize of them all, man. And if you ask anybody on those teams, they probably say, man, shit, it don't matter. We didn't win, so it don't count. So that's what happened, man, in 1972, man. You seen the you saw the let's go back to that. Yeah. See, I've been doing this for a minute. You saw the culmination of the Dolphins being one of the best teams ever. Not just this season or of the decade, like ever. Like this is the standard for being the best team ever. Winning on the field, winning off the field, because I think Mercury Morris was in jail at one point. But that's a story for another day. But winning on the field, winning off the field, man. Winning Super Bowls and being undefeated, man. Like that's the standard, man. Playing good defense, playing good offense, playing good special teams. And that's the standard. This put the Dolphins at the top of the class in terms of NFL teams. I mean, because when you think about it, 72, right? We're just 2 years, not 2 years, but a few years removed from the merger, right? Like 2 years from it being completed. So when you think about the fact that they're undefeated, that puts you past the Packers of the past decade, who won like 5 championships per se within that decade. Not once did they go undefeated. Not once. They went like 10-1 or some shit like that, but they lost one game. They won all the championships, but they weren't undefeated. That put them at the top of the class, in my opinion, already. And to this day, this is still one of the best teams ever. And how many years after this? We're talking like 50 years. And ain't nobody been able to do that shit. I done seen it happen throughout my lifetime a few times. Oh, they're 13-0. They're 14-0. Shit, Cam Newton went 15-1. Made it to the Super Bowl and everything. But even winning after being 15-1 is hard. So and they had the MVP of the league. That's what Cam Newton was. So imagine how the Redskins felt in 72 when you got the league MVP and Larry Brown. And we get all the way here. We riding the wave of our guy. He's the league's best player. And shit, you just ain't get it done, man. So it happens, dog. But like I said, man, this has been really fun. Like I said, 1972 is one of my favorite seasons to talk about, man. O.J. Simpson, like Franco Harris. Like, come on, that's two running backs with like 1,200 yards, 12,000 yards apiece. Like one person got the rings, and the other person got the first 2,000 yard season. Think about that shit. Two polar opposite types of people, and they both came out and they both kind of came into their own, like already. That's crazy to me, man. That's crazy. But if you thought 72 was crazy, wait till we get to 1973. It's going to be a ride, baby. So I will see y'all on the next one when we discuss 1973 in the football frame of mind time machine, man. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because this shit's going to be cool. So hop in with me. I'll say it again. Hop in with me. And let's go for a ride through the time. So, see y'all later, man. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.